How's it going, everyone? I'm Keegs, and today we're going to be talking about all of the currently known Jedi to have survived Order 66. Now, the Inquisitors were enlisted to hunt down any remaining Jedi that survived the initial purge, so this is going to be talking about pretty much the Jedi that survived at least 5 years after the initial execution of Order 66, you know, the ones that actually kind of made something of themselves and didn't just spend their last few moments running until they were killed or hunted down by Vader or the Inquisitors. Starting off, we of course have Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Well, of course I know him. He's me.
The OG Jedi survivor. He beat Anakin, he hid his children away, and then he hid away himself in the one place Anakin would never return to, Tatooine. He is one of, if not the most successful Jedi survivors, I would say, because he not only helped Luke into the rebellion and kind of helped Luke find himself, but he also progressed as a Jedi himself, and he was able to learn how to become a Force ghost and just kind of become one with the Force, obviously through the tutelage of Qui-Gon Jinn, who had previously died. Then we've got Yoda, who of course fought Palpatine to a stalemate, but then decided to exile himself to Dagobah for the next 20 years and just kind of completely immerse himself in the Force.
R2!
I think Yoda took the fall of the Jedi Order pretty hard since he was part of the Order for just so long, hundreds and hundreds of years. He was almost 900 years when he died, and presumably he went to the Order when he was just a few years old himself, so he probably spent the most of his 900 years there. He took it really hard, and then he went a little kooky, I think, without all of the other Jedi around him and in his isolation. But even still, he was able to turn himself into a Force ghost and continue mentoring other Jedi across the galaxy through his time spent on Dagobah and even after his death. I'm not sure if Ahsoka Tano counts, since technically she left the Order before Order 66, but the clones had a specific order to kill her, and she was working with the Republic at the time of Order 66, so I'm going to include her here. With the help of Darth Maul and Commander Rex, she was able to kill half of the 501st Legion and then escape into hiding, where she would eventually come out of hiding to help the rebellion. The last we saw of her, she is teaming up with Sabine to go on a hunt for the missing Ezra Bridger, which will likely get touched on a lot in the upcoming Ahsoka show. Next up is Kanan Jarrus, who was once a Padawan known as Caleb Dune, and after his master was killed, he was able to escape from Clone Force 99 when Hunter covered for him. He then went on to fight against the Empire with his crew aboard the ship known as the Ghost. Unfortunately, Kanan did not last until the rise of Luke, but he had a very good run and made a big name for himself after the events of Order 66, and even trained a Padawan of his own after the events of Order 66 for at least 3 to 4 years. Cal Kestis was a Jedi Padawan who was able to escape from a Jedi training facility after his master Jaro Tapal sacrificed himself. Cal closed himself off to the Force, but 5 years later, in a scrapyard accident, Cal used the Force to save someone and was consequently ratted out to the Empire. Cal was able to reconnect with the Force, though, with the help of the Mantis crew, and spent years fighting against the Empire. Cere Junda was a Jedi Master that was able to escape with a few of the younglings, but alas, the younglings were captured and either killed or tortured, which broke Cere's connection to the Force, where she ended up joining the Mantis crew to help bring Cal back to the light himself. Quinlan Vos was a Jedi Master that specialized in the criminal underworld and was known to have been smuggling Force-sensitive younglings away from the Empire as late as 10 years after Order 66. Grogu, aka Baby Yoda, was a Padawan in the Jedi Temple, and though it's a bit unclear as to how he escaped, Grogu was able to close himself off from the Force and suppress those memories for about 28 years until the Mandalorian saved him and brought him to Luke to reawaken his memories and his former Jedi training. There was also that one Jedi that was hanged in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, whose name I believe was Nari, Though there isn't much known about him, he of course died 10 years after Order 66 in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Now those are the Jedi that actually survived, but the next few are a little trickier since they did not immediately die following Order 66, but they fell to the dark side. So would you really consider that surviving Order 66 if you kind of lost your mind and turned to evil? I don't know, that's for you to decide, but I'm going to list those people out now so you at least know them. And hey, who knows, maybe some of these people will come back to the light since some of them we haven't seen their actual deaths, so it's possible they're still around and there is still time for redemption. Taren Mailcos was a Jedi general in the Clone Army, and when his troops turned against him, he was able to take them all out and eventually crash landed on Dathomir. After being imprisoned by some of the natives there, he began turning to the dark side until he was completely corrupted. Of course, he doesn't have any time for redemption though, since he died after a brief battle with Cal Kestis. All of the Inquisitors, of course, were either former Jedi, Padawans, or potentially even Force-sensitive babies at one point, which include the Grand Inquisitor, the second sister Trilla Suduri, the third sister Reva Savander, the fifth brother, the fourth sister, the seventh sister, the ninth sister, the eighth brother, the sixth brother, the 10th brother, as well as a couple other unnamed Inquisitors. And of course, last but not least, a man that needs no introduction, Anakin Skywalker, who technically did actually redeem himself in the end and go back to the light side, so I would say he's actually more of a true survivor since he eventually turned back to the light side. Alright, so that's gonna wrap up basically all of the Jedi to have survived Order 66. There may have been one or two that I left out, but I think I got pretty much all of them, and as of 2022, the end of Christmas time of 2022, this is our current list. I'm sure more will surface in the future in different shows and different forms of media, which I cannot wait to cover when they do. I hope you were able to learn something new, and if you have any questions about anything Star Wars related at all, leave a comment down below and I'll get back to you. I'm Keegs, and I will catch you all next time for some more Star Wars content.